Morning students. The another important phenomena of wave optics is interference, which we shall discuss in detail here. In class 11th, we have already studied about superimposition of two waves in the last chapter, and in that series there we have also studied two special cases of superimposition, namely the standing waves and beat. Our today's topic, interference, is a continuation of that concept of superimposition using light waves. All the concepts of superimposition, they will be used over here and we will go through them. To observe interference, we need two light sources which should be coherent by nature. Coherent, this word is used here. Let's understand what is the meaning of coherent sources. Meaning, the light rays emerging from these should be of same wavelength frequency, having constant or no phase difference with time. The main condition is they should have no phase difference or constant phase difference between them. This is the main condition. The two different light sources, if we use two bulb or two tube light or we use two candles, they can never fulfill these conditions. They will never behave as coherent sources because the phase difference between the lights coming from them will change with the time. So they can never be used as coherent sources of light. To produce the coherent sources of light, we have to produce two sources using the same source of light, either by using a reflection or refraction, that is the division of amplitude method, or by making slits, holes in an opaque surface in the front of the main source, which is known as division of wavefront, that we will discuss later on in the Young's double slit experiment. In this slide, we recall our superimposition concepts. In slide, we have used red and blue color to represent two waves which on superimposition produce the resultant wave shown by the green color. In the first diagram, both the waves superimpose in the same phase, thus producing constructive superimposition or maxima. In the second diagram, they superimpose in the opposite phase, thus resulting in minima formation. In the neighboring diagram, the interference condition is shown with the two coherent sources S1 and S2. When waves from such point sources superimpose, we see from the diagram some points only show constructive superimposition or the maxima shown by the red color lines, and some points they show destructive superimposition or minima shown by the black color lines. In case of light, so we obtain fixed point of color bands, that is the bright band and the dark band, and this pattern is known as interference. It's written in the slide also. The phenomena of one wave interfering with another and resulting redistribution of energy in the space around the two sources of disturbance is called interference of wave. To understand the constructive and destructive interference or superimposition, let's consider two waves with amplitude A and B and a constant phase difference of phi. E1 is our first wave, which is equal to A sine omega t. E2 is our second wave, which is equal to B sine omega t plus phi. The phase difference between the two is phi and their amplitudes are A and B. They superimpose to form the resultant wave E with its amplitude capital A. So E is equal to E1 plus E2 by putting the values of E1 and E2 and using the formula of trigonometry. We get E is equal to A plus B cos phi bracket में in sin omega t plus B sin phi cos omega t. E is the resultant wave with the amplitude A and the phase difference, let us consider with the phase difference theta with the wave E1. So A plus B cos phi is equal to A cos theta and B sin phi is equal to A sin theta. It is clearly depicted or shown in the square box drawn on the right hand side corner, bottom corner. Solving these equations, we get the amplitude of resultant wave A is equal to under root A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta, and the phase difference between the resultant wave and wave E1, that is tan theta, is equal to B sin phi upon A plus B cos phi. The intensity of a wave is directly proportional to the square of its amplitude. So, the intensity I is equal to A square of the resultant wave, and it is equal to, in bracket, small a square plus small b square plus 2ab cos phi. This formula gives the resultant intensity or the intensity of the resulting wave. These formulas are used to perform the or solve the numericals related to these topics. For maximum intensity, as we can see from the formula, A and B are constants. Phi is also constant, but cos phi can we can have different values of it. So for maximum intensity or constructive interference, cos phi should be 1. This is only possible when phi or the phase difference between the two waves is 0 or 2 pi or 4 pi or 6 pi or 8 pi and so on. Or the phase difference is 2n pi, where n can be 0, 1, 2 or 3 and the path difference is n lambda. In that case, the intensity of resultant wave will become A plus B whole square. For the minimum intensity or destructive interference, cos phi should be -1, which is only possible when the phase difference between the two superimposing waves is pi or 3 pi or 5 pi or 7 pi or 9 pi and so on, or 2n plus 1 pi, again where n is equal to 0, 1, 2 or 3. Corresponding to it, path difference will be 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. Using this, the intensity of minimum or the minimum intensity of the resultant wave can be A minus B whole square. If the amplitude of both the waves are equal, then the resultant of minimum intensity will be 0. The ratio of maximum intensity to the minimum intensity is A minus B whole square upon A plus B whole square upon A minus B whole square, which is equal to A by B plus 1 whole square upon A by B minus 1 whole square, where A by B we can see it is the ratio of the amplitudes of the two superimposing waves. In the Young's double slit experiment, we use two slits or openings in an opaque surface to produce the coherent sources. The width of these slits, the intensity of the wave and the amplitude of the wave, they are correlated by the formula I. Intensity is directly proportional to the width of the slit, which is directly proportional to the square of amplitude of the wave. In this slide, you see the setup for the Young's double slit experiment. Where S is the ultimate source of light, a single slit is enlightened by it, which is optional. We can have it or not. Further, the two slits S1 and S2, they are enlightened by it. These two slits S1 and S2, they serve as the two required coherent sources because they are being illuminated by the same source. So the light emanating from them will have constant or no phase difference. To observe the interference pattern on the screen, we use these two slits S1 and S2. Distance between the two slits S1 and S2 is represented by small d, and the distance between these sources and the screen on which we obtain the interference pattern is represented by capital D. We see O is the midpoint of the screen at which the light waves coming from the sources S1 and S2 reach, covering equal distance or having no path difference. So the central fringe is a bright one. We obtain a bright fringe at the center O. What will be formed on the other points of the screen? For this we consider a point P at a distance y from the central point O. And we will try to find out the path difference by the two waves coming from the two sources S1 and S2 and reaching the point P. This path difference is represented by S2P minus S1P is equal to delta in the picture. Let's name a point which is situated at a distance of small d by 2 above O as M and small d by 2 below O as N. It's not shown in the diagram. The points are not written, but the line has been drawn for them. So in triangle S2PN and S1PM, using the Pythagoras theorem and subtracting the equations, we get S2P square minus S1P square is equal to, in the bracket, capital D square plus y plus d by 2 whole square minus, in another bracket, capital D square plus y minus d whole square, bracket close. That is shown in the slide, which is equal to 2 small y and small d. S2P square minus S1P square is again split using the formula a square minus b square is equal to a plus b into a minus b. And you see S2P minus S1P that we have already represented by the path difference delta, and S2P plus S1P, they are roughly the same distances, which is equal to the distance between the source and the screen. So it's approximately equal to twice of capital D, which is equal to 2y small d. So the path difference of the two waves reaching the point P from the source S1 and S2 comes out to be y small d by capital D, which is written at the last end of the page. Depending on this path difference, we will obtain maxima or minima, that is the bright fringe or the dark fringe. For maxima, this path difference should be equal to n lambda, where n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. So, the positions of maxima on the screen will be, by putting these values of n, will be 0 or lambda capital D by small d, or 2 lambda capital D by small d, or 3 lambda capital D by small d, and so on, and n lambda capital D by small d. For the minima, the path difference yd by capital D should be equal to 2n plus 1 lambda by 2 capital D by d, and n is equal to 0, 1, 2 and 3. Putting the value of n, the position of minima are obtained on the screen, which are as, first is lambda by 2 capital D by small d, second is 3 lambda by 2 capital D upon small d, and so on, and 2n plus 1 lambda by 2 capital D by small d. Fringe width, which is the width of any fringe, and all of the fringes are of equal width in the interference pattern. We obtain it by subtracting the position of any two maxima or minima, and it comes out to be capital D lambda by small d. This formula is very important for numericals. From this, we see the fringe width comes out to be capital D lambda by small d. It depends on the distance between the screen and the source, the distance between the two sources, and the color of the light used, whether it is red or it is green or it is blue, the width will be different. The color having more value of lambda will show the fringe is with more width than the one having less value of lambda. If we increase the distance between the screen and the sources, the fringe width increases. Similarly, if we decrease the distance between the two sources, the fringe width also decreases. So this formula is very important for the conceptual questions as well as numericals. Now the result obtained for the bright and the dark fringes, it can be plotted in the form of a graph which is shown as intensity graph. The intensity is shown on the y-axis, and on the x-axis we can show two values, either path difference or phase difference, anything can be shown. You see at the central point O, maxima is formed, and after the maxima, minima is formed, then maxima is formed, then minima is formed, then maxima is formed, and the same pattern is obtained on both the sides of the central point O. It is shown in the diagram. The intensity of all the dark fringes and the bright fringes is same, and their width is also same. So in the interference pattern, we obtain the alternate bright and dark fringes of same width and almost same intensity. To undergo the experimental setup of interference, or to observe it clearly, we have to keep something in mind, or it will be clearly observed if we take care of these points. We use the two sources that we use, they should be coherent. The two sources that we are using should be closer to each other, and they should be placed at a sufficient distance from the screen so that good width of fringes is obtained. The source of light should be monochromatic. If we use light of mixed colors, then the fringes of different colors will be formed, which will be mixed or overlapping. Then if we use the two sources with the same amplitude, then at the minima we will obtain a clear darkness, because both the amplitudes will cancel out each other. So to observe a clear interference, we have to keep all these things in mind. Then the two interfering waves, they must be in the same plane of superimposition, so that they can polarization, so that they can superimpose clearly. I hope the topic of interference using the concept of superimposition and using the condition of coherent sources must be clear to you all. You have to learn this topic, its experimental setup, its formulae, its diagram, for the numericals and derivation point of view, for the exam point of view. Thank you for this topic, for studying this topic.